I I pulled it off the screen a while ago. So it came on like an echo, I guess. Welcome, everyone. Oh, I got to edit my mic. Hmm. It's I'm getting an echo. Maybe I'll shut my speaker off. Yeah, maybe I'm getting the echo. I'm not sure. How is my sound, everyone out there? Sounds good? Okay, well, we'll get right into it then. We won't let that slow us down. We got a big elders book to cover tonight. So we welcome everyone onto the show tonight. We have Ruby Quinn, the checkers champion of Discord. Ruby, congratulations! And I wanted to actually talk to you, Ruby, about that. Uh, I was watching you play. That was your first time. I couldn't believe after four moves. So here it is for Ruby. Ruby, okay. Now we got that out of the way. Who else do we have? Clyde. Clyde Bell. We have Alora. Laura. My sound's echoing. I'm just shutting my sound off. So I'll trust that it's good. I was playing with it just before the show. I don't want to go back and play the game. Okay, Ruby, hello. We have Rebecca, my good wife. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't do the show. I always- the Compassionate Apostate, welcome. If you haven't seen the Compassionate Apostate's channel on Discord, he has a channel as well as his own channel, and he has a music video on Vivo, a real professional music video. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Clyde Bell, hello, Clyde. Justin Florenzo from Orange County, California. Yeah, teach you all of my moves. Wait till you see the 5 minute commercial. Okay, reasonable to conclude. Hello. It is reasonable to conclude that that Elders book is a disaster. Justin, we said hi. And who else do we have? Boy, a lot of people. We have Lisa from New Zealand. Good morning, Lisa. Probably Tuesday morning in New Zealand. And we Yvonne. Hello, Yvonne from Scotland. Wow, Scotland. That's where you're from. What time is it in Scotland, I wonder? Okay, we're going to get right into it, folks. We have a lot on the go here with this Elders book. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. If you don't, everyone knows Philip Brumley, right? Philip Brumley, Montana. He's Philip Brumley is Jehovah's Witnesses' biggest, best lawyer in the world. Here's this all in Avoid JW. All this stuff is about Philip Brumley. He's hailed before kings. Philip Brumley, the witch hunter. He can knock down the apostates in court. Philip Brumley, a legal prophet. Philip Brumley, a legal prophet. Oh, Philip Brumley, sustained effort to deceive? Really? Philip Brumley, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society JW lawyer, charged $154,000 for deceiving the Montana court system. And when he went for the appeal in Alaska, they made him fly to Alaska. They dismissed it. They wouldn't even look at it. Philip Brumley. There's Philip Brumley. He deceived the court. He lied. We did lots of videos on that. So then we go over to this guy. This guy is David Nam, the Supreme Court liar. He's the guy in Canada. works for Howell and Low and Howell or whatever, the JW firm here in Canada. Did the same thing here. He got away with it though, lying, but I don't think it all lasts that way. Um, Here's another one, the cult education. Look at this, Cult Education Institute, folks. This is Alberta, here where I live. Court okays a lawsuit against lawyers for alleged deceit. And now this is old, but I was just researching it. It was new to me. Alberta's top court has permitted the father of Jehovah's Witness teenager who died of leukemia to sue on behalf of his daughter's estate. Watchdog Bible and Tract Society of Canada lawyers who he alleged advised her to reject the blood transfusion prescribed by the doctors. So you probably remember some of that. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't read the whole thing. But the point is, the Jehovah's Witness lawyers have no problems lying and deceiving in court. So then I went to the Elder's book and I wanted to look up lying, but first I wanted to go to the Bible to look up lying. Well, in the Bible, it says there are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are abomination to him, naughty eyes. The second one's a lying tongue and hands that shed innocent blood. You know, when I think of the Jehovah's Witnesses getting involved in the blood, people's lives, people are dying when it comes to blood. That article I was reading you, that was like a study. This was like a person that was just studying. So I'll have to research that a little further. But people that are just studying who haven't even committed or giving up their lives to this religion. So shedding innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans. Well, when we see that Philip Bromley is sustained effort to deceive, that's devising a wicked plan to deceive the court. And then feet that make haste to run to evil. Well, when you go and destroy evidence, like they've done, and they've done it all over the world, but they've proven it in the Montana case, um, that fits the bill. A false witness, what about that? Who breathes out lies? So we send Gary Burrow into court, who talks about the governing body never lying, but yet he goes to court and he doesn't say a thing, which is as good as lying. Hmm. So, and one who sows discord among brothers. Well, what's happened with all the disfellowshipped ones? Probably 1.8 million, they estimate. You think the Watchtower is sowing love with all of you guys, all of us? No, it's discord, problems. So the Watchtower fits so many of the bills of Proverbs. The things that the Lord hates. Okay, Proverbs 19:9. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will perish. Psalms 101. No one who practices deceit shall dwell in my house. No one who utters lies shall continue before my eyes. In Proverbs 12, truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. So I don't know. I look, and there's a ton of scriptures I could go on and on. It even John 8:44, you are from your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desire. So the truth is not in him. That's what Jesus said to the Pharisees. He said, when he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he's a liar and the father of the lie. You know, when I look at JW.org and I look at all of this lying going on in court, they really do fit that bill. Montana case showing, and this has been going on for a long time. It's just that Philip Bromley has been really good at deceiving the courts all those years, and he's become famous for it. So now they don't even talk about him. He's not even brought up. They're hiring worldly lawyers. They're hiring the Catholic Matt Havers in Pennsylvania. Okay, so what does this have to do with JW.org? Well, the Elders book. I went to the Elders book and I wanted to know what does it say. Here it is. Pretend you're going to train your children on lying, right? So here it is, number 22, deliberate malicious lie, bearing false witness. So you'll talk to your kids, you'll say, you'll start it out like, well, if your kids were lying, what would you say? You'd say, Johnny, lying is bad. You might start out that way, right? Well, here's how the Watchtower starts out. Though all lying is bad, though all lying is bad, they're kind of, you know, uh, setting this up, right, to allow for lying. Right in this elders book, folks. Though all lying is bad, judicial action is taken only if there has been a practice of deliberate malicious lying. So you can say, Johnny, though all lying is bad, Daddy's only gonna, take action, if there's been a practice of deliberate malicious lying. Malicious means deliberately, harmful, harboring ill will or enmity. Johnny lying that requires daddy to get involved is more than just exaggerations or petty misleading statements of relatively minor consequence or lying because of momentary pressure from your command. I know, Johnny, you had to lie in school. You were because you didn't want to go to the birthday party and eat the. So I understand lying in that situation, Johnny. I do. So this is how this reads, folks. It's designed that they can't actually lie. They could get away with it. They say it right here, lying because of momentary pressure or fear of man. They can get out of it because of that. Well, no, not really. Brumley, he deceived the court. He planned it. He was fined 154,000. So he planned it. It was malicious. It was meant. But you see how they get around it is that if you're lying in court, you can get away with it. They allow for it, and it's not deliberately harmful. Right here in the Elders book, it's not deliberately harmful. It's not harming the Watchtower. It's protecting the Watchtower. The lying. It's not harboring ill will or enmity toward any of the brothers that are in good standing inside the Watchtower. All those apostates outside, they're the ones that we have to protect the Watchtower from. So we have to. This is the course we have to take in court. And that's how they get away with it. These guys get away with it in their own elders book. Okay, well we've hardly gotten through. If you're new to the show, we've been covering this elders book now for about 4 or 5 weeks, and it is a book, a judicial book. If you put in the word judicial, it comes up 337 times. Love comes up 5 times. So we're going to go to page 96, I believe. That's where we left off. And we're all the way down here. We're a little further down. 56. I think we're even further down. There we are. 59. Now, someone in the audience left a comment and said, I went a little quick over a section. Just back a bit here. It was about someone that doesn't look after their family, I think. What does it say about that? Anger. Oh, there it is. Refusal to provide for family. So someone left a comment saying that I went over this a little fast. So let's go over to refusal to provide for family. So if you have a brother in the congregation that is not providing for the family, here's what the Elders book says, page 91, point 35. It says, adamant refusal to provide materially for one's own family, leaving wife and children destitute when having the means to provide, may warrant judicial action. May warrant judicial action. Might not. So what that says is it could go both ways. Some of the factors the body of elders should consider before forming a judicial committee are the following. Does the husband adamantly refuse to provide for his family, or is the failure to provide for them because of other factors, such as health or financial difficulties? Is he doing what he reasonably can to provide the necessities for his family? So they're not going to kick a guy if a guy's down out of work or something like that. Number two, has counsel been previously given and has there been an opportunity for him to respond? So that being maybe he's lazy. If they're giving counsel before, maybe he's lazy. Number three, does his wife have material resources affording a secure life so the family is not destitute? So number three, they'd ask, is the wife working? So does the wife have a good job? Maybe she's a school teacher or something, pulling in enough to feed the family. They'll look at that, and then they'll let your husband be lazy. Number four, if the family is destitute, is it because they have rejected the family's head's provision by choosing to live apart from you? So they could blame it on the woman. Let's say the husband's a jerk, verbally abusive, maybe even physically abusive. It's hard to say, but maybe he's just not providing. It's lazy. Well, here's what it says: if the family is destitute, so let's say the woman moved out. She's working at the grocery store or something, bagging groceries, doing some job, just hardly making it. And this guy's taking her money and going and buying beer or something like that. This happens, right? So here's what the Elders book says: if the family's destitute, is it because they have rejected the family's head's provision by choosing to live apart from him? Really, they're gonna play that card, eh? Wow. Well, there you go, folks. They will play that card on you if you're a woman. It's very, very unfair. I'd recommend go down to family counseling, family welfare if you're having trouble, and file for divorce. Number five, they say when a separation is involved, to what extent is the wife? What? I did not know they said that. To what extent is the wife responsible? Holy smokes! Holy smokes! Can you believe this? I can't believe that. I Thanks for having me reread this, whoever it was. They totally blame it on the wife. So if you're a woman and you have a lazy ass husband who's not getting a job, and you're doing what you can to feed the kids and pay the rent or whatever you're doing, the elders are backing your husband. He's the head of your house. And if you're making enough money to provide, they're not going to do a damn thing. It says that in point three. Point number three, his wife have enough money to feed everyone. And if the family's destitute, is it because the wife split? So you're the wife, you split, you get the hell out of there. You can't feed that lazy ass and your kids. So you're just going to take your kids, feed your kids. Well, they're going to turn on you. The elders are turning on you. They're going to say the family's destitute because you pulled out. And when a separation is involved, to what extent is the wife responsible? Is what he's saying here. So this is BS. This is what the elders book says. If you're in the organization, go get help, because you're not going to get help. There's nothing in this book to help you as the woman to provide for your two kids or four kids. Who knows? Let me know in the comments. Okay, I did not know that. We're going to go all the way back down to where we left off, number 6 or something. No, we did that. Okay, validity of a wrongdoer's baptism. Now, there's 80 points on this, so we're going to kind of try to get through this tonight. Cisco Kid says, my brother-in-law is an elder in a depressed area. He lives in an RV. His wife needs medical attention. His children have all left the org. His grandchildren have left. Yet he is used as a leader. Really? Wow. Well, the others book says he can. You blame the wife. Wow. I'm learning this along with you guys, so we're learning this together. Some of this stuff is catching me sideways. Okay, we're gonna carry on. Page 99, validity of wrongdoers at baptism. 59. When dealing with a wrongdoer, the elders should not raise questions about the validity of the individual's baptism. If the individual raises the issue, the elders may refer him to a magazine. Watchtower. They refer him to the Bible, the Watchtower, February 15th. You see, that's how this is what this book is. It's just a book upon books. Refer you to the Watchtower. There's nothing referring you to the Bible. At times, a wrongdoer will claim that his baptism is not valid and that he feels he is not accountable to a judicial committee because he secretly engaged in wrongdoing shortly before he was baptized. Has that ever happened to you? Well, guess what? You don't get a get out of jail free card. That doesn't get you out of jail. Here's what their elders book says: if the elder has been aware of his serious wrongdoing, his women don't count. Um, they never say his or her. His serious wrongdoing committed just before baptism, likely they would not have approved him for baptism if they knew about it. However, however, this does not necessarily mean that he did not make a valid dedication. You see, they want to disfellowship you really bad. So this is what they're saying. They don't care. They say some individuals make a dedication long before their baptism, and others have made a dedication shortly before. The elders are not in a position to read the heart and know for a certainty how Jehovah viewed the person at the time he was baptized. You see, what if a person got baptized out of peer pressure? All the other 10-year-olds are baptized, so I better get baptized. Well, if the elder learns that a baptized individual secretly engaged in serious wrongdoing while he was an unbaptized publisher, but the wrongdoing ceased before baptism, they should give counsel and encouragement. That's all. A judicial committee should not be formed for the pre baptism wrongdoing. However, if the individual resumes serious wrongdoing after baptism, the elder would generally deal with him on a basis of what he has professed to be dedicated and baptized Christian and would meet with him judicially. So if you committed a wrongdoing before baptism, you're not going to get dealt with judicially, but they're not going to take your baptism away. And if you commit it again after, you're going to get dealt with. And probably DF'd. DF means disfellowshipped, acronyms. Yeah. Hello, Lewis. Nice to see you. Wildwall and Adrian. We say hi to Adrian. Molly and Cisco Kid. I think we said hi there. But yeah, if you walked away, good for you. Okay, there are rare occasions when it's obvious that baptism was invalid because of serious that did not cease before baptism, even for a brief period of time. For example, it may be that at time of baptism, the individual was living immorally with a member of the opposite sex or the same sex, or was a member of a non-neutral organization, non-neutral, a political party. Yeah, I know that's not in the Bible. That's JW stuff. This non-neutral organization. None of this is in the Bible, folks, or something similar. So they can dig up something else. Uh, okay, if there are questions, the service department should be consulted, and they have a bigger list. Okay, let's move on. Determining which congregation should handle the matter. Bodies of elders should cooperate if there's a question regarding handling the cases. Which congregation has the facts? Which congregation can handle the case most effectively? Jurisdiction should not become an issue. Okay, so if you so if you committed let's see, in another congregation, um, which congregation has the facts. It sounds like that congregation could handle you judicially. Number 63, if a wrongdoer moves before a case has been concluded, it is usually best for the elders of the original congregation to follow through if possible and if distance permits. They're acquainted with the person and his circumstances. If he moves a great distance away, the elders of the original congregation should not insist on handling it. If the wrongdoer says he is unable to return to the congregation for the meeting. In such a case, it may be advisable to refer matters to the elders of the congregation where he now lives. There should be good communication between the two bodies of elders. My advice to you, if you're staying in the organization and you're dealing with this, because I went through all of this with a member of my household when I was in. We moved and we moved the file because we moved so far away. It was like a 3 hour, 4 hour drive. So the file got transferred. They set up a new body of elders, and it just drug on and on and on. It was like 2 years. It already been a year in the other congregation, kind of a yearish. And then it was another year, and then the one elder, you can actually fire the elders. So I haven't seen that in the elders book yet, but one of the elders told me that you can fire the elders in a judicial, and it wasn't me, it was one of my members of the household, but as a head of the house, you get to sit in. And so one of the elders made the statement, well, we might not reinstate for 10 years. It shouldn't matter to you. And I said, "Well, where do you get that nonsense from?" And he says, I'll show you a watchtower. There's a brother that was disfellowship for 10 years, and then he got reinstated, and he was innocent the whole time. And I said, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. I looked around the room, and all these other elders wouldn't say a damn thing except the one boss elder. They always have a boss elder, presiding overseer or the coordinating overseer. He's a major narcissist. Every congregation has one. And yeah, I said, I fired him, not in the spot. I wrote a letter, put it in the contribution box, wrote it to him. And I said, you're fired. I want a different body of elders without you on it. And so they assigned a new body of elders, and this case went on for 3 years. So the new body of elders, they wanted a whole year. You see, these elders are all narcissists. They all want a whole year to work with the disfellowship person and get all the details. So all those details of that disfellowship person, that member of my household, had to give all those details to three bodies of elders. It was sickening. Anyways, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You think I would have quit back then? That was back in 2000. I still stuck at it for another 12 years. Okay, number 63. If a wrongdoer moves before a case has been concluded, it is usually best for the elders of the original congregation to follow through if distance permits. That's what that's saying. Number 64. If the elders learn that a publisher is visiting the area for a short period of time is guilty of wrongdoing, they should promptly report the matter to the elders of his congregation. So you see, elders that will communicate between elders. If you're guilty, they're going to pass stuff. It's really a form of slander, like a lot of this stuff. It's just discrimination, slander, so many different ways. But it's all in the elders' book. They'll pass this on and let everyone knows that knew you. If you're going to be visiting that area, they better let you know that you're disfellowship, even if you're there on holidays visiting family. I guess as a disfellowship person, you can't really visit, but maybe you're in the area because I don't know, to be in that area for a short period of time. It's in the elders' book. Moving on, wrongdoing involving individuals. Okay, what did Jackie say? Jackie said in her case, four bodies of elders over four congregations. It was an absolute ST with a high in the middle show. Yeah, no kidding. So it's not just me. These aren't rare cases. These are because of this elders book. A lot of times we get mad at the elders. But they're most of them, and I'm not gonna say they're all narcissists or were narcissists. Probably most of us are narcissists to a degree, but some of these elders love this stuff, and some of them hate this stuff. So I think there's 2 sides of the fence. If you're an elder, you've gotta kinda work with this stuff. They do. There's some good elders out there. This book is the problem. This comes from the Watchtower. So, wrongdoing involves individuals from different congregations, wrongdoing involving individuals. So, if they confess and it involves another congregation, uh, does the other individual admit to the wrong? Do their accounts match? They do a real, like, litigation, like a trial. They really work people over between bodies. They work the people over big time. There are many advantages to interviewing individuals jointly to ascertain what actually clarified discrepancies. Jointly, the elders handling should communicate freely. There are many advantages to interviewing individuals jointly together. If a joint meeting is held, thereafter the elders handling the matter from each congregation will withdraw and handle the case first in their own congregation. The elders in one congregation should generally not conclude their case before the elders of the other congregation have fully investigated the situation. Wow, what a waste of people's time. Poor elders, eh? And all the people that are being judged, everything. Okay, permitting individuals to commit sexual immorality in the home. Number 66. If a publisher were to allow an individual to commit sexual immorality while living in the publisher's home, he would be giving tactic tacit approval to immoral conduct. And this would also be true of the allowing an individual to commit sexual immorality while visiting the publisher's home. And such a publisher would not be exemplary. Such a publisher is not exemplary. So I see how it says it here. Now this happens with people's kids. It happened in my house. I was sleeping and some girl came in through the basement window. I didn't know. I didn't have an alarm system on it. Like a little window too. Anyways, I'm minding my own business and I get pulled aside at the Kingdom Hall, and I'm asked about this if I knew anything about it, and I said, "No, I don't know anything about this." And anyways, I lost all my privileges. Now, did you see where if I would have had this elders book, I would have been able to argue it because here's the point, folks. Would be giving approval. I never gave anybody any approval to have immoral conduct in my house. It happened. It happened against my will. The girl snuck in, and it happened. They were drinking. There's alcohol involved, of course. So, that says this would also be true of allowing an individual to commit sexual immorality while visiting. I didn't allow anything. You see, but they nailed me for this. If I would have had this book, I would have said I didn't allow it. It's not in your book. You see, I could argue. That's why a person needs a lawyer. You need someone with this book. That's why we're reading this book online. So if there's anything we're missing in this book, if you out there, the audience, if you guys have questions, put it in the comments. And when I do the next reading, I'll go back like I did today and I'll cover it again. Okay, number 67. When congregation elders come to know of such a situation, they should patiently provide scriptural counsel. Not lovingly, but just patiently. The publisher should be helped to see what he is allowing could stumble others. Um, what's that about? Sexual immorality or something? I guess I guess we should talk to the person about it. Number 68. Perhaps the publisher is genuinely concerned. Are they not going to leave this thing alone? They're going on and on about it. Okay, well, perhaps the publisher is genuinely concerned that what he has been allowing may cause for stumbling. For certain reasons, however, he may feel that he has no recourse at the present time. For example, elderly witness parents may need the assistance of an unbelieving son or daughter. And under such circumstances, no judicial action would be taken, but the qualifications of the publisher to serve as an exemplary position would be reviewed by the body of elders. So I guess that's an example. If you have parents that are aging that need assistance, and elderly parents, witness parents, may need assistance of an unbelieving son or daughter under such circumstances. What? It's unbelieving son or daughter. I don't know. An elderly witness parent may need assistance from a worldly daughter, son. And under those circumstances, no judicial action would be taken. Oh, there'd be no judicial action for them to have contact with the worldly family? This sounds like another one of those points. Okay, here's what I think this is. Anyways, I don't get half this stuff. 69. Suppose the publisher, upon being approached by the elders, manifests a brazen attitude, not really caring if others are stumbled. Even if he does not encourage others to do what he is doing, the elders may decide to arrange for a talk to be given, serve as a warning to the congregation. So if you have a brother that just has a bad attitude, doesn't care, they're going to give a talk about him. Uh, Another form of fear, humiliation. On the other hand, if a baptized publisher actively promotes allowing individuals to commit sexual immorality in the home, then the matter could be handled judicially on the grounds of condoning sexual immorality, causing divisions, and in effect, speaking against the teachings of Christ. They're still on this allowing people to have sex in your home. They went on and on about this. Well, I guess there's a whole section. So, but again, I didn't allow anybody to have that. I lost all my privileges. If I would have had the elders book, they couldn't have taken my privileges. Okay, scriptural freedom to remarry. 70. It is the responsibility of the individual desiring to remarry to produce convincing evidence to establish scriptural freedom to remarry. So if you're not married and you want to marry someone, you need to provide scriptural evidence. Why wouldn't the other person have to provide that? Hmm. Well, if an individual's divorce occurred before baptism, the elders should not assume the individual is scripturally free to remarry, as baptism does not dissolve previous marital ties. Elders should be very careful when it comes to giving direction on whether individual is scripturally free to remarry and should consult with the service department on any questions. Wow. This is especially true since the decision a person makes in such matters will affect not only his relationship with his marriage mate, but also his relationship with the Watchtower. I mean, Jehovah, it says here. Elders should have a heavy responsibility in such matters. Need to be cautious when offering counsel, especially when the answer may not be readily apparent. They really get involved in people's lives, like in freedom to remarry. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff on this. 71. Scriptural freedom to remarry requires three conditions. One, sexual immorality or porneia. What? Requires sexual immorality, porneia. Two, a rejection, refusal to reconcile by the innocent mate. And three, a legal final divorce. Oh, so you can't just get a divorce and be free to, you can't marry someone that just got a divorce. Let's say you just, okay, here's a good example. A person is studying. They recently got a divorce. They get baptized. You get to know a bunch of sisters in the congregation. And the sisters wants to marry this brother, this new brother. You know, when the new brothers get baptized, all the sisters want to marry him. So he gets married, or he's going to get married, and the elders say, "Wait a minute, you were married before. How do we know that it's a scriptural divorce?" The brother says, "Well, I had a legal divorce. She was worldly, I paid her half, I took my half, and here we are, baptized the next day." The elders pull out their book and they say, here it is in our. You got to find out if she's sexually immoral. Did she commit immorality when she left you? Do you know that for sure? You see, we can't just take your word. It has to be proven. They have to hire a private eye or someone to go and check it out. I don't know if the book's going to get into it, but I just heard a case about this just the other day. Number two, a rejection or a refusal to reconcile by the innocent mate. So maybe your wife wanted to get back together, but you got the divorce. It's hard to say. But they want sexual conduct. They want to get into the sex life. They'll go back and they want you to prove it. Okay, let's see how far they take this. For example, if an individual contemplating remarriage confesses that he has been guilty of sex after his former mate legally divorced him, or if his former mate has admitted to committing sex since a legal divorce, are scripturally free to remarry. So the elders would want to get involved. They'd want to hear from your previous. So can you imagine you'd have to get your worldly ex-wife, call up, maybe come in to the kingdom hall and meet with the elders, tell them, so she could tell them that she had sex. Like that's kind of what it's saying here. My good wife is at the other end. Like her and I both know of a situation that revealed to us like this. Now I realize why it's such a perplexing situation. I didn't realize that this was such a perplexing thing, but it is in this religion. Wow. Okay, we're not even done on this. There's a few more points on this whole marriage thing. All this on this topic. Look at that, eh? Okay, so you have to have sex. Number 72. If the baptized Christian accuses his believing mate of adultery and wishes to establish freedom to remarry, the matter should be referred to the body of elders. Publisher should be advised that he is not to view himself as scripturally free. We just talked about that. And if the accused mate is associated with another congregation, the evidence should be presented to the elders of that congregation. So now everyone's wow. Now, number 73, in some cases, adultery is not established. However, the accused to two witnesses or two eyewitnesses might report that he stayed all night, he or she, I guess, in the same house, person of the opposite sex, or known homosexual under improper circumstances. And the elders should carefully consider the situation. And if such strong circumstantial evidence of sexual immorality exists, the innocent maid is convinced that the adultery did occur. The elders may allow the innocent maid to take responsibility before Jehovah, obtaining a scriptural divorce. And if the innocent maid remarries, no judicial action will be taken. So you can get remarried, but then they'll take judicial action. Now, a brief statement of the elder's decision should be placed in a sealed envelope for the congregation file. Number 74, if the accused mate is not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, disfellowship, disassociated, or never baptized, two witnesses are also generally required to establish wrongdoing that would provide a basis for the scriptural freedom. So, if you were never baptized and you divorced, let's say your husband or wife baptized, and you divorced, and you both went your own way, and the husband or the wife wants to get the JW wants to get remarried. Now they have to have two witnesses that go out and follow the non-baptized person, the worldly person, basically. Follow them around to see if they're having sex. They're not telling you to hire a private eye. They're saying two witnesses. So what would you do? Go talk to some Jehovah's Witnesses and plan this? Okay, it says an exception may be made, however, if the unbeliever privately makes an ambiguous confession of adultery to the Christian mate. In such a case, if the innocent Christian mate believes that the confession is true and does not wish to reconcile, he can submit a letter to the elders outlining the situation. So, the innocent mate, so if they believe it's true, they can submit a letter. So what if their ex just can't get a hold of them, not gonna talk to them, then you're out of luck, I guess. Now, the body of elders should then consider the letter if there's any known reason to conclude it has been a example. Was the confession worded ambiguously? Did the unbeliever later deny making the confession? If the unbeliever is willing to speak with the elders and the matters are unclear, the elders may choose to ask the accused to meet directly. You see, the elders want to get involved, folks. This is what's going on here. They want to get involved. If there's no reason to conclude otherwise, the innocent mate can be allowed to take responsibility for Watchtower or Jehovah for obtaining a scriptural divorce if he remarries. No judicial action will be taken. A brief statement of the elder's decision should be placed in a sealed envelope for the congregation file. This letter should then be destroyed. Now, the following constitutes rejection by the innocent mate. The innocent mate initiates a divorce either before or after learning of the adultery. Rejection by the innocent mate. So the innocent mate initiates a divorce. The innocent mate signs a divorce. Um, no, signs a divorce decree, or in some other way indicates he does not object to a divorce issued by the guilty mate, either before or after learning of the adultery. And in some lands, it's possible for the innocent mate to sign legal documents that stipulate custody of children, financial support, without indicating he agrees with the divorce. And his signing such papers in itself would not indicate a rejection. I guess you go to the Watchtower of 2000 for that one. Wow, I didn't realize all this stuff. Okay, the last one here is though verbally expressing forgiveness and not seeking a divorce, the innocent mate refuses to resume sexual relations for a very prolonged period of time, a year or even years, for indicating to the guilty mate that he or she is free to pursue a scriptural divorce. The elders should consult the service department. And the innocent mate is not required to make a quick decision to forgive or not. Doot, 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 doot. Okay. Any points on that? What's that one? Uh, how many elders get home from these meetings and tell their wives, wait till you hear this one, honey? I wonder, eh? I wonder. This is exactly what happened. I was born in, husband not. It's pretty painful to ride the JW wave about all this. Yes, no kidding. Well, I feel bad for any of you guys out there that's had to deal with this stuff. Crazy. Yeah, it is. They do this stuff to good people. Okay, let's carry on. It's a big book. Gotta get marking disorderly ones. Remember marking, that you're marked in the congregation? Well, here's how it all takes place. At times, it may be necessary to mark those who display a flagrant disregard for Jehovah's standards, though not practicing a grave sin that merits judicial action. So, a flagrant disregard for Jehovah's standards. Well, let's see what that. This could include such things as being grossly lazy or critical, or being a profitless talker who is a constant meddler with what does not concern him. It may involve one who schemes to take material advantage of others, indulges in entertainment that is clearly improper, dates an unbeliever, or dates when not legally or scripturally free. That sounds like a few people I've known. Okay, this is marking disorderly ones. Marking. Number 77. If the disorderly conduct is generally unknown to others, possibly no threat to their spiritual well being, usually it is best to handle things through admonition and counsel. Admonition. You're going to admire him and then counsel him. Hey, brother, you got a nice suit, but your attitude sucks. How do you do that? Handle it through admonition and counsel. Not sure. Let me know. Comments if you've ever received admonition and counsel. The body of elders should not be hasty in deciding to give a warning talk. Oh, they like. However, if the individual does not see the error of his way but continues to be an unwholesome influence, a warning talk may be given to the congregation. Elders must use reasonableness and discernment in determining whether a particular situation is sufficiently serious and disturbing to require a warning talk. So that's just kind of the side thing. I want you to give the warning talk. Okay, number 78. For example, if a baptized Christian is dating an unbeliever, the elder should first counsel him and then try to help him. If he persists in disregarding the Bible principles in spite of the repeated admonition, the body of elders may decide that a warning talk should be given to the congregation. That he should marry he should marry his cousin. She's baptized. Don't marry worldly people. So what? All the people in the congregation and surrounding congregations are related to you. Well, you got to marry your cousin then. I wonder what's happening, in the congregations, if it's getting like that. I know that's a problem in a lot of these cults, like Hutterite cults. Even they have different groups all over the place. They call them Hutterites. They're like Amish in the States. And they have a lot of problems with marriage because they won't go outside the colony. Lots of problems. Okay, well, yeah, you're gonna get counsel if you marry out, if you date an unbeliever, all of that stuff. Even if they're an unbaptized publisher, it says here, if if an individual is dating an unbaptized publisher, a warning talk may not be needed. Hmm, may not be needed. Much would depend on the circumstances, on the attitude of the Christian, on the level of disturbance to the congregation, and other factors. Nonetheless, if he is dating with a view to marrying someone who is unbaptized, he is not obeying the Bible's counsel at 1 Corinthians 7 and 30. To marry only in the Lord, and loving counsel should be given. Oh, they use the word love. Well, that's what happened to me. I married an unbaptized publisher, and I got disfellowshipped, well, among other things. Won't get into that. But that's what happened. The funny thing is she wanted to get baptized. I said, "No, we don't think you get baptized for the right reason." And then, we got married when we were disfellowshipped, because in them days, they actually disfellowshipped an unbaptized publisher back then, and then they changed the rules on that later. So, anyways, that's what happened a lot of years ago. I was like 18, 19, I think I was 21. 79. If the disorderly one is moved to change, the elders can individually decide to resume personally supervised. The disorderly is moved to change. The elders can decide to personally socialize with him. This will indicate to the congregation that they may consider that the individual is no longer marked. Really? Really? That's how they do it. You're kidding me. So if you're marked, the elders aren't going to associate with you if you're marked. And then the elders have their little meeting and they decide if you're okay again. And then they'll go up and talk to you at the Kingdom Hall. They'll socialize with you. So the rest of the publishers can see it, that you're no longer marked. It's a way of shunning you and disfellowshipping you without actually disfellowshipping and shunning you. It's like an inside thing. It's like an inside joke about shunning. But these guys take it serious. It's not a joke. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Lisa thinks Ruby. Oh, you're talking about that. I won't get involved in your Ruby's. Yeah, yeah. Jane said she was marked. You were marked. You had a had a white Jeep Commander follow you all over town and then questioned you. Wow. What a this is crazy. I thought I seen it all. I thought it was just all, but it's all open stuff. This is like gangrene. Okay, let's carry on. Attempted suicide. A suicide attempt would be the result of deep despair or major depression. Elders should deal carefully and compassionately with such a person. And in most cases, a judicial hearing is not required. Wow, that's it. There's okay. This should spell out a warning to anybody out there that works in child welfare, mental health, works with the medical industry. Why would an organization like the Watchtower not tell their elders to get these people help within the system? There's lots of help out there for people that want to commit suicide that have a deep despair. They know what it is, depression. The elders should deal compassionately. They just walk on tippy toe around them. And in most cases, a judicial hearing is not required. In most cases, this should be taken out of the elders' hands. Like the instructions here should be: elders, get this person professional help immediately. That's what needs to go into these elders' books. But folks, it's not there, and that's why we know that countries like Norway are making the right decision in canceling this religion because they can't check the box when it comes to child welfare, how they're looking after children. So if you have a child that's attempts suicide, they're not even telling their people to get professional help. You see, they think the elders are the doctors, and they just have to be a little bit more compassionate. That's all they have to do, and that's the end of it. There's nothing there. You seen how much stuff we covered for following people around, see if they committed fornication, if they're married or not, but nothing when it comes to life saving someone's life, suicide. Okay, well, that brings an end to that section. We're an hour in. Tell you what, we're gonna come back and cover pornography. Let's see how long it is. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break here. Pornography is not that long, and we're gonna get into child abuse next week. So chapter 14. So let's cover pornography. Everyone loves the pornography topic. So we'll cover pornography, take a little bit of a break here. And I'm going to put on a 5 minute movie. It says porn is everywhere. So yeah, let's see how the Watchtower deals with porn. It is everywhere. And um, it's interesting to see how they deal with it. It's in there because of what? It took their lives, mental illness, and when they got told that they wouldn't get resurrection, many families left, so they changed it to keep members. You know, but they're not telling anybody to go to the hospital and get help. That's what blows me away. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break here, and then we'll come back and look at some comments. And then we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're gonna go for a walk. Comments. And then we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And then we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And then we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. We're going to go for a walk. There we go. And we'll come back and look at. So this is the same. Okay, that didn't work too good, did it? Somehow my it's giving me feedback. It's like my setup's not working. Okay, well, I'm going to take a break anyways, and I'll just throw the video on without sound.
They're just chatting.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when I was having trouble with my stream here. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when I was having trouble with my stream here. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when I was having trouble with my stream here. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when I was having trouble with my stream here. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when I was having trouble with my stream here. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when I was having trouble with my stream here. Sorry about I didn't have the volume when... There's the issue.
There's the issue.
Really?
Yeah.
My good wife fixed it. Do I ever feel dumb? Okay, I had YouTube open and StreamYard open. Ruby even knows better than that. Okay, well, I'll play my movie at the end with the music. It'll play right. Okay, let's get into pornography. Chapter 13, pornography. Determining whether a judicial hearing is required, reviewing it, shepherding, and factors to consider. Okay, helping a Christian break free from the habit of viewing pornography requires firm scriptural counsel by loving shepherds. Does James talk about pornography? James 5? I don't think so. Therefore, when an elder learns that a Christian has deliberately viewed pornography, the body of elders should assign 2 elders to meet with him to establish the facts and determine the extent of the problem. If he is married, he should be kindly encouraged to reveal the matter to his mate. After the initial investigation, the assigned elders should provide an update to the body of elders. That's what happened. Yeah, I don't know. I had a secretary that was working for me. She was a sister, and her second husband was looking at pornography, I guess, and she went to the elders. Anyways, this is what happened. They got a divorce eventually. Okay, determining whether a judicial hearing is required. Number 2, the deliberate viewing of pornography is a sin. It can result in an addiction to sex, perverted desires, and serious marital problems. There's a whole bunch of scriptures and books and stuff you could go to. However, not all cases require handling by judicial committees. And then you got to look at all the Watchtower articles that they'd have to look at. So if you're an elder, you'd have to review all this, look at all the Watchtower stuff. We're not going to. So number 3, an entrenched practice of viewing, perhaps over a considerable period of time, abhorrent forms of pornography would be considered gross uncleanness with greediness and needs to be handled judicially. Greediness. That's like the breasting brother. He was greedy for it. So they would look at all that, and then it would be handled judicially. Such abhorrent forms of pornography include homosexuality, sex between those of the same gender, group sex, bestiality, sadistic torture, bondage, gang rape, the brutalizing of women, or child pornography. It is equally wrong for a man or a woman to watch 2 women engage in homosexual activity, as it is for a man or a woman to watch 2 men engage in homosexual activity. And you would see I don't know what that is, a Watchtower or something? No more Pornhub. I thought we did a video that Watchtower had shares in Pornhub. They don't really have shares in Pornhub. That was actually a spoof by some other company. They said Disney had shares in Pornhub, but because Watchtower has shares in Disney, they would have shares in Pornhub, right? If Disney bought Pornhub. But Disney did not buy Pornhub. That was a spoof. Went around for a while. Okay. Reviewing qualifications of those serving in an appointed capacity. If the body of elders determines that a judicial hearing is not needed, but the matter involves an appointed person such as a pioneer, ministerial servant, or an elder, his qualifications should be reviewed. So, is this about porn still? Yeah, I guess it's still about porn. So if it's involving an elder or someone that is a pioneer or a servant, they would probably lose their privilege, lose that status in the congregation. The body of elders should consider what type of pornography was viewed. So imagine the questions that they would be asking. Let's say, yeah. Did the viewing of pornography consist of a few brief incidents, or was it the practice spanning many months or even years? Was the viewing of pornography accompanied by masturbation? They would ask that, eh? Okay. When was the last time the person viewed pornography? Was the person counseled in the past about viewing pornography? And did he come forward voluntarily? If married, has he informed his mate of the problem? What effect has this had on the marriage? Who else are aware of the problem? Does the person still have their respect? Does the person demonstrate an earnest desire to desist from viewing pornography? And does the person's conscience allow him to continue serving in an appointed position? Whew! Those are all the questions you'll get if you are ever caught looking at pornography and it gets reported to the elders. Okay, number 6. The body of elders may determine that the person still qualifies. Okay, these questions, I guess, are a little bit more thorough because you'd be asked all these questions if you were an elder or a ministerial servant or a pioneer. Number 6, the body of elders may determine that the person still qualifies to serve in an appointed position if, number 1, his involvement consisted of a few brief viewings of non-abhorrent forms of pornography. So what you'd want to do is save some screenshots and maybe print them out or save them to a saved file. And then when you go to the elders meeting, you can, open it up on the big screen, Pornhub, and show the elders a few brief viewings of the non-abhorrent forms of pornography that you watched. Okay. That's if you come forward on your own. Number 2, he displays a heartfelt desire to desist from looking at pornography. So you'd have to say, I'm not going to do that again. I kind of got caught off guard when I looked at this stuff. Number 3, the elders are convinced that he will refrain from viewing it. And number 4, he retains the respect of others who are aware of what he did. And number 5, his conscience allows him to do so. And on the other hand, a Christian who persists in viewing non-abhorrent forms of pornography cannot be considered as exemplary and thus does not qualify for special privileges in the congregation. So if the Christian persists in viewing the non-abhorrent forms of pornography, so I don't really know what non-abhorrent forms of pornography are. Non-abhorrent? Non-abhorrent. Horrent. Not horrible. So I don't know how they qualify that. I guess. Okay. Shepherding. We're still dealing with pornography, folks. So shepherding, number 7, elders need to provide ongoing shepherding to a Christian who is struggling to break free from viewing pornography. And the frequency and nature of shepherding visits may depend on the extent of a person's involvement with pornography in the past. Bible-based information from the faithful discreet slave can serve as a basis for such a visit. So you know what Matthew 24 and 45 is? The faithful slave. It's a question. Who really is the faithful, discreet slave? You see how they use that? And then that's all they quote here. They're quoting just to let you know that they're the boss. Bible-based information from them can serve as your basis for your visit. Every effort should be made to help the Christians establish a daily routine of prayer, study, and wholesome meditation. And when dealing with a married person, the elders should provide spiritual assistance and comfort to the believing mate as well. Okay, so there you go. Factors to consider when recommending reappointment. Before consideration is given in recommending a brother for reappointment as a ministerial servant or an elder who was deleted for viewing pornography, the brother, number one, must have demonstrated over a sufficient period of time that he has overcome the problem. And number two, he must have the respect of the congregation, including his family. See 8.10, 8.10. And if so, the brother was previously serving as an elder, it must be decided whether to recommend that he first serve as a ministerial servant, so he doesn't have to work his way up the chain again. And if his viewing of pornography was for a prolonged period of time, it would be best to recommend him first as a ministerial servant. However, if he was involved in only a few brief viewings of non-abhorrent forms of pornography, and he took initiative to confess to the elders, he may be recommended to serve again as an elder. Okay, so there's your get out of jail free card. Talk to the elders. Tell them about your non-abhorrent pornography, that you've only briefly looked at a few pictures or something. And you probably get out of jail free. You might lose your eldership for a while. Have to work your way back in. You know how many elders look at pornography? I used to work on computers, video systems, and there was one elder. He was a high up elder, RBC elder, and you could see it in the history. You know, these guys, they don't know that there's a. I don't know back then if they have where you can block everything out. What do they call that? Incognito? Incognito. Yeah, he didn't know that there was an incognito, I guess. But we had to get in and load stuff in there for okay, we're into that's child abuse. That's what we're going to cover next. Child abuse, that's next week. But everything's logged, everything's tracked when it comes to computers. Even if they use incognito mode, if people are searching for child pornography, the RCMP in Canada here, anyways, they know. They get in, see through the internet. It's all flagged. The internet's really flagged for child abuse, big time. And so if they're caught, they'll come in and confiscate all their computers. It's all in there. So you can run, but you can't hide. Everything that is hidden will be revealed. That's what we always say. That's what's happening with the Watchtower. But yeah, there's a lot of elders that do that are into pornography. They yeah. And like my good wife says, there's a lot of healthy males and females. Pornography is really a person's personal decision. Coming from the, it's, we're not going to get into it. I would never counsel anybody on their bedroom what they entertainment or any of that stuff. It's their own business. I'm just abhorred that this elders book is so full of this details and all of this stuff, and talk about a high control religion. Well, that's what this elders book shows us all. It's a high control religion, very high control. Okay, I think we're going to close the show down. What else do we want to say? Anybody else want to say anything? Is a wet dream of sun. There's a good one. Yeah, better go tell the elders. You've had some. Well, it depends what you had in that wet dream. These pictures that you've had. It's like same thing, right? It's just images that comes into your brain. Same thing. Yeah, yeah. That's a good point, Ruby. They make you feel like Jehovah's watching every little move that you're making. There is always the law of attraction. Hello, Tad from Japan. The there always is the law of attraction. Whatever we're doing, we reap what we sow. Whatever we think about. So, if you're a single guy, whatever if you look at the law of attraction, whatever you think about, whatever you desire, will happen. Ooh, you could look at porn and all that stuff could happen. Maybe. I don't think it works that way. Do you know how I think that works? And I kind of believe in the law of attraction. There's the flaky version of it, but I believe in the fact that what you're putting out, what you're doing out there, comes back to you. And so, let's say you're a young single guy and you want to meet a nice girl, right? Well, maybe you went on a few sites and checked out what kind of girl you like, or maybe you go down to the pool. You can do the same thing. That's what my old uncle told me. Just go down to the swimming pool and you can pretty well see that them naked. They get a little bit on it, but you'll see what they look like. So there's a way. But yeah, if you're always think about this, you what you put out, or you what you sow, you get back, right? It's a law of attraction. What you put out comes back to you. So if you're always looking at porn, always looking at porn, always looking at porn, well, why can't I get that good girl? Well, because you're just getting that back. You're getting porn back. That's all you're going to get, because that's all you're looking at. You got to go out to the beach. You got to meet some people. You got to go dancing. Put on your shoes and go dancing. And you'd be surprised who you meet. But you're not going to meet that perfect girl on the computer. I'm sorry. It's not how it works. You're just going to attract more of that. It's a law of attraction. So it's really quite that simple. Okay, well, that's my sex education for today. I won't go into it too much further than that. And I'm going to see if I can pull up this video again that I had here. See if it won't echo. It echoed on me there. Okay, I think it might work this time. Let's try it. Throw it on the stage here. Yeah, I think it's working this time. Okay, well, folks, thanks you for being with us tonight for the Elders book, the Secret Elders book, and we'll see you next week. And we'll get into the child, CSA next week, chapter 14. Okay, well, until next time, have a great day. And I already said keep living your life with love, didn't I? Okay, here we go. Is it loud enough?
Hello? Hello? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hello.